You think you're funny, do you?
So I thought I would show you a little bit of the school. We are a school that is really focused on taking care of the ocean. We have almost 30 years. In fact, this is the 30th year of our MARE program that was started in Stanford. And it's all designed to teach the kids about different sectors of the ocean. And the thinking is that if each grade level is aware of a different sector of the ocean, that they'll become more responsible for taking care of it. And the choices that they make will reflect that responsibility and that understanding that we're all connected with the ocean. And for instance, almost more than half of the oxygen that we breathe comes from plankton and algae in the ocean. So we better do the right thing. This book involves a character, a little guy named Jack, and his sister. And let's see who else is in there. There is, well, you know what? Let's just get to the book and you can meet Jack, meet Kate, and see what it's all about. Enjoy. The Creeping Tide by Gail Herman, illustrated by John Nez. In July, I went to day camp. I had outdoor sleepovers with my friend Mark, and I learned to skateboard. In July, my big sister Kate got her braces off, except she still had to wear a retainer most of the time. She looked in the mirror and smiled a lot. But now it's August. There's no camp, and Mark is on vacation. What am I to do? Kate, Mom says one morning, how about taking Jack to the beach? No way, says Kate. He asks too many questions. Can I go? I ask. Can we leave right now? Can we stay all day? See, Mom, he's already started, Kate says. No more questions, I promise. I won't be any trouble. I'll even make our lunch. At the beach, there isn't much room to sit. The water covers most of the sand. Finally, I drop our stuff. I don't ask Kate if she likes this spot. That would be a question. We put on sunscreen, we go for a swim, we lie on the blanket. I have lots of questions, but I won't say a thing, at least not to Kate. I walk over to the lifeguard. Her name is Gwen. Have you ever saved anyone's life? I ask. Not yet, Gwen tells me. Can you swim across the ocean? I ask. Not yet, she says again. Let's see, what else can I ask? What time is it? 10:48, Gwen answers. Then I notice a big sign. What's that, I ask. A tide chart, Gwen says. It tells you when there will be a high tide and when there will be a low tide. What's happening now, I ask. The tide is coming in, Gwen says. The water will keep covering more and more beach until high tide. Gwen helps me read the chart. High tide is at 11:40 a.m. After that, the water will start to move away from the beach, she tells me. I check the chart again. Low tide is at 5:55 p.m. I guess that's when there will be the most beach. I have another question. What's the highest tide you ever saw? Once, after a huge storm, the water covered the whole beach and the parking lot, Gwen says. Wow, I say. Then I ask, what do you like better, high tide or low tide? I like to dig for clams and look for sea animals, so low tide is my favorite, Gwen says. I'm about to ask, can I go clam digging with you? But Gwen looks kind of tired. Then I hear Kate calling, lunchtime. I race to our blanket and take out the food. Yum, peanut butter sandwiches, says Kate. I couldn't eat them when I still had braces. She takes out her retainer, and we both eat. Then Kate says, "A cold mango smoothie would taste good right now. Let's go to the snack stand." It's pretty far away, but I don't mind. There's lots to see. We stop to watch a sandcastle contest. One man slips and sits on his own castle. "Oops," I say. We stop to watch the sailboats. After a while, we stop again to watch a girl fly a kite. The kite looks like a monster, kind of like Kate when she's in a bad mood. We finally get to the snack stand. Kate sees some friends, and they talk and talk. I wait so long I get thirsty again. Kate buys me another smoothie, and we walk back, past the sailboats and the sandcastles, and the girl flying a kite. When we get back to our spot, the blanket is sandy and wet. "Hey," says Kate, "the sunscreen is missing. And your goggles. And my retainer. Somebody stole it." "Why would someone take your retainer?" I almost ask. But no questions. Instead, I think. I think about the sandcastles, how on the way back there was more sand for building, and how the girl with the kite was standing on sand, not in the water. The water is moving away from the beach. Gwen walks past. "What time is it?" I ask her. "Almost 5 o'clock, she tells me. "How can you ask such a silly question when our stuff is missing?" Kate says. "But it's not silly. I'm trying to figure out what happened." I walk in a straight line and step over seaweed that has washed onto shore. The sand is wet and wavy. There are tide pools in the sand. I stare into the big puddles the ocean has left behind. Seashells, crabs, little fish, they are all here. I stoop closer. You can find creatures like starfish and sea urchins in tide pools too. "Jack," my sister calls. "What are you doing?" Oh, that's right, her retainer. The tide washes all kinds of things onto the beach. Driftwood, feathers, shells. Some of these things come from thousands of miles away. I walk almost to the water. Aha! I spot the sunscreen and my goggles. Just as I thought. High tide came in while we were gone. The waves washed over our blanket and carried our things down the beach. But still, no retainer. I turn around to go back, and ouch! I step on something a little sharp. The retainer! Kate runs over. "How did you find it?" she asks. "I just followed the tide," I tell her. She gives me a big hug. "Go ahead," she says. "You can ask me one question." I look at her and smile. "Can we come back tomorrow?" This book was published in 2003, and there was no technology represented in the book at all. Can you imagine if Kate had brought a phone, which most teenagers would, and maybe left it on the blanket? Then the tide would have come in and totally ruined her phone. But that didn't happen. Well, let's think about Jack. Jack and his questioning, man, he started off and he was so annoying. And I'm the eldest of 4 kids. And I thought, well, is this little guy just going to just bug his sister because he likes to hear himself talk? And then things changed when he went over to Gwen. I thought it was going to be more of the same when he asked Gwen, the lifeguard, if she had ever swum across the ocean before. I'm like, come on, this is, again, just annoying somebody else. However, when he asked about the tide, he was reading the sign. He asked some really good questions, which made him seem much more like a scientist. And I thought, okay, good for you. He wanted to know what time the tides were coming in. He also wanted to know, like, what was the biggest tide? And that information, it turns out, was pretty important because when he inferred when he made a hypothesis, which is your best guess based on the evidence that you have. When he made his hypothesis that the tide had come in and washed everything away, he could back it up with concrete evidence, which made me feel like, all right, so this kid is actually a scientist. So I hope that you enjoyed the book, not only because it talked about the beach, and we're a school that focuses on the beach, on the ocean, and we look at how the effect of the ocean on humanity is so important, and to figure out what we can do to be responsible and act with full knowledge as we coexist with the ocean and all the creatures in it. I also want you to think about Jack and the way that he approached his life by asking good questions and then using his skills of inference to come up with a hypothesis that could help him solve the problem. All right, I gotta get back to class. Peace out.
Porsche, 5 and a horse, I'm ready for war. I'm coming for throats to turn to a ghost. I need to know everything.